Lights, camera, and action.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast.
Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared.
Damn!
And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you are joining us, we are about to do our third and final drive-in special. I am looking forward to these movies.
Me too.
If only because I really, really don't remember them. I've seen them, but I don't remember a lot. Like, it's not a total blank, but enough that I'm super excited about watching these movies. That being said, I will say after getting all the things ready for the preview,
Yeah.
I couldn't be more excited about watching two movies. One is loved / lambasted for being completely different than the first Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, really?
And the pure hatred I uncovered for Halloween Resurrection.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it has its fans, 3 people in Boise, Idaho, I'm sure. But talk about hate a movie.
Oh, it's one of the shittiest movies
Wow.
ever made.
Oh,
100%. One of the shittiest movies
and I don't
ever made.
remember it like that. I don't remember it being like, "Oh, that's the best Halloween movie ever." But I remember it being okay. I remember it. At least I think I
It's
do.
been a while since I've seen it, but here's what I love it. I remember loving it, but I also remember it being terrible. Like just pure and utter shit. So, we'll see if I still feel that way after this is done.
Yeah, now Halloween Resurrection, I do remember the early exit of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
I was young and just happy a Halloween movie came out, so I didn't care. I remember this as a slasher, a Michael Myers movie. I did not buy the DVD though, and I bought a lot of DVDs back in the day. I didn't watch it a lot after, so I'm wondering if how much I really did actually like. I remember the web show basis of
Yeah.
the movie, and I remember Busta Rhymes.
We all remember Busta Rhymes.
Yeah. Now you haven't seen Sleepaway Camp 2.
I have not.
Okay. I remember it being funny for some reason. I remember it being over the top. I remember me and my friends seeing the VHS cover because back in the day it was
Mhm.
on VHS. We didn't see it then, but we saw the cover at a video store, and the fact that it had a hockey mask and what looked like Freddy Krueger's gloves in this
Yeah.
girl's backpack, we really thought Jason and Freddy were in that movie. And I remember that they were not. Or not the actual Jason and Freddy.
Yeah.
So you remember nothing.
I remember
All
nothing
right.
because I've never seen it.
All right. Well, let's go over some of the box office. Now, this is easy
Yes.
because there is no box office for Sleepaway Camp. I can't find anything on how much money made. It could have been a straight to
Straight to video.
yeah. The only thing I found is that they were both shot number 2 and number 3 back to back to keep the budget down, and each got like $465,000 each.
Mm,
So it's just under $1 million for the 2 movies.
impressive.
Now, on the other hand, we do have box office on 1980. It's supposed to be 1998. Jesus Christ.
It's okay. We forgive you.
Okay, it opened at 4th place behind Men in Black 2, Road to Perdition, and Reign of Fire. It had a
Mm,
budget of 13 million. It opened at 12.2 million. Domestic haul was just over 30 and international just over 7. So 37, almost $38 million. I believe what they say is with marketing that you have to do 2 times your budget
yeah.
to break even. So this movie did well.
It made a profit.
Yeah, and then after this it was video rentals, and back in the
Yeah.
90s in early 2000s, video rentals were huge. So now let us go to the tail of the tape. All right. Sleepaway Camp 2 Unhappy Campers is a 1988 horror rated R and comes in again in a 1 hour and 20 minutes. It seems short. Well,
That's literally the bare minimum to be considered a feature film.
yeah, because I think that's what Grizzly 2 was, and that seemed like a long time.
Let's hope this one moves a little faster.
Taglines. And they thought it was just another ghost story.
Huh?
No.
No.
This year, camp's a scream.
What? That's
When you
grammatically incorrect.
when you when you go camping, just take the essentials.
That's stupid.
That's
Why
it.
would people do those taglines? Those are terrible, terrible taglines.
All right, synopsis. Angela Baker, Pamela Springsteen, who was the main camper antagonist in the first movie, is now a psychotic transsexual, escapes from a mental hospital and surfaces at a summer camp as a counselor who lectures her teenage charges on proper moral behavior. Those teens who break her strict rules, from the camp chatterbox or sex obsessed girl to boys who are peeping toms, are murdered by the imposter in various gruesome ways. As more campers go missing, intrepid counselor Molly, Renee Estevez, begins to piece together the truth.
Okay, this makes me very excited to watch this.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
And the movie poster, because we've been looking at the VHS cover,
Hmm.
is a lot like the VHS cover.
Yes.
When you go camping, just take the essentials. And they're showing the hockey mask and the glove that looks like Freddy Krueger. If you're listening to this, it's an attractive girl with a backpack in the forest, and Jason, a cheap Jason mask and Freddy Krueger glove hanging out of her backpack. You can see where me and my friends might have been confused at 8 years old.
Is that also a chainsaw?
That is a chainsaw.
Yeah.
So we got
I
a
was like,
little
is that a chainsaw or a tree?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre going as well.
Fantastic.
Now, you have to be warned, because where the first movie took a very it was not a serious movie at all, but it took a very serious tone. It
Hmm.
tried to. Number 2 went the opposite direction.
I can't wait.
Now, Halloween Resurrection, Tale of the Tape, is a 2002 horror, rated R, comes in at an hour and 29 minutes. Okay, buckle your seatbelts.
I'm ready. Hit me.
It's not just hitting you, it's the amount.
The amount.
Evil finds its way home.
Okay, maybe.
Yep, I should have just left it with that. Evil never dies. You can burn it, you can shoot it, you can lock it up forever, but evil never dies.
That's stupid.
That is stupid. The Shape is back in action. That's fucking
What?
dumb. Well, he's referred to as the Shape, and now he's back in action.
That's stupid.
That's pretty bad. Everyone can see you, everyone can hear you, but on July 12th, no one can help you.
Also very stupid.
Yeah, that might be all right on like
See, if they had
a
taken out,
billboard or something.
but on July 12th, if they had taken that out, if it was just everyone can see you, everyone can hear you, no one can help you, that's a good tagline.
Yeah,
Marketing departments.
we're not even halfway there. Michael's work in Haddonfield is not done yet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Brother versus sister for one last time.
That, no.
Evil comes home.
Okay, good one. That's a good one.
Michael Myers is back and he's ready to clean house.
That's fucking stupid.
It's like they're making a sitcom.
Right? Or a Disney movie?
On July 12th, Michael comes home, and this time there will be no escape.
What? Why are they?
The night he came back.
No.
Okay, that was it.
Jesus Christ. So many so bad. So bad. Fire the whole marketing department.
Yeah, they really went to town. All right, the synopsis. The original House of Horrors, the dilapidated home of infamous serial killer Michael Myers, has now become the set of a webcam reality show. But when the veteran slasher discovers that a group of university students has taken over his old killing grounds, he decides it's time to bring the Blades out of retirement. Even the synopsis is bad.
Somebody in that same marketing department wrote that.
Yeah. And the movie poster, again, a little darker. The mask is a little more worn.
Mm-hmm.
For those listening, it's half of it is Michael Myers' face. The other half is the knife. And then within that knife, we have Busta Rhymes. We have the girl that can't scream. We have Jamie Lee Curtis from H2O. We have
Tyra
Banks. And
And
I'm
then
sorry,
the
I
guy
don't
from
know his
Save the
name.
Last Dance, whose name I can never remember.
That guy.
Yeah, huh?
Yep. All right. Yeah, the marketing department wasn't very good.
No, they were terrible. They were absolutely terrible.
Let's watch. This is Sleepaway Camp 2 Unhappy Campers.
Yep, already.
And I took great pains not to watch these. That's why there might be some stuff at the beginning and the ending where YouTube suggests stuff.
There used to be this camp about 60 miles from here, Camp Arawak. All these kids started getting killed. Well, it ended up that the killer was the shy 14-year-old girl that everybody picked on, except she wasn't.
Phoebe, you're supposed to be in the cabin. Let's go.
Wait, what happened to the killer?
Whatever happened to the good kids in the world?
Oh, don't talk like that, Uncle John. There's lots of good kids. We just have to weed out the bad.
Party hats!
Remember, ladies, nice girls don't have to show it off.
Weird for a trailer.
Where's Phoebe?
I had to send her home. I found her doing things with the boys last night that she had no business doing. I know the rest of you are nice young ladies and you won't get into any trouble. Let this be a lesson to you. Say no to drugs. Camp Rolling Hills is the best. Oh, I'm a happy camper. I love the summer sun. I love the trees and forests. I'm always having fun. I don't like being the wicked witch of the West. Hey. But I know what happens when things get out of control. You're gonna tell. Oh, I'm a happy camper. I love the clear blue sky. Good night, campers.
That's going to be so good.
That looks awesome. I won't lie. That looks.
I am so grossed out by the outhouse because ew.
And that's what referenced the Rotten
Yeah.
Tomato review.
That, oh God.
It looks
that
like
was
it's going to be
terrible.
gross.
Yeah, so gross. So gross. But I'm so excited to watch that movie.
And I saw the party hats at 2:00.
Yes, yes, you did see the party. Also, I think the girl that she sets on fire is Kimberly Williams, who now has a hyphenated last name because she married Paisley. Kimberly Williams Paisley. That's it.
Oh.
Of the
So
Hallmark fame.
your prediction for?
I think I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, it looks.
It looks so bad. It's good.
Yeah, Sleepaway Camp 1 was so bad,
Yeah.
but they tried so. This one, they're not taking it as
No.
serious. No, this is.
I think they went in the complete opposite direction and they're just
Yeah.
like, let's just have fun with it, which I'm excited about.
Yeah. Okay, so the only one I could find, the actual theatrical trailer, is a little blurry, a little grainy, because it went online 15 years ago.
God damn.
So I apologize but that's the only theatrical trailer I could find.
It's okay. Let's watch it.
You will enter the childhood home of our most brutal mass murderer. The home has been rigged up with several cameras, but for the most part, the audience will see only what you see. 6 friends.
Are you sure they're not just putting us in some house with hidden cameras in the shower?
This is gonna be fun. Have been offered fame and fortune. That's the American dream. All they need to do, all the windows will be boarded up and all the doors will be locked shut behind them. No one will be allowed to leave until the show is over.
You stay the night.
Let the dangertainment begin.
Now,
You think this is the one that he used to, do his thing?
the webcast is live.
One flash and you could light up 1,000 computer screens.
You are like this close to getting voted off the island.
The stage is set.
Has anybody else seen this? That worked perfect.
Whoa!
It's all fake. We've been set up.
I'm only trying to give America a good show.
But the house
Wait, what just happened? We just lost Bill's camera. There's somebody in the hall.
is his.
Michael's here!
This summer,
Somebody please help us.
evil comes home.
Trick or treat, mother.
You want a piece of me? Hello, Michael. I knew you'd come sooner or later. What took you so long?
They hired quite possibly the best editor for that. Because that was a movie. If I saw that trailer, I'd be like, I want to watch that.
I think I did see that trailer, and that's why I was like, I want to watch that. They really made it think that Jamie Lee Curtis came to save everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks fine. I say that about every fucking movie. But I'm gonna go in it like they said, because every Halloween has something to do with Laurie Strode or the niece.
Yeah.
This is kind of like where Friday 13th, it's just a group of kids that happen to run into Jason, and this is not your regular story. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
going to try to look at it as. But it
Cool.
looks fun. I noticed everyone I recognized.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that you recognize in there. And I love this movie because it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
And as long as you go into it realizing like it's ridiculous, you're good. If you're looking for a serious horror movie, don't watch it
No.
because you're going to be sorely disappointed. But I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear what you think about it. And it's been a while since I've watched it, so I can't wait to rewatch it.
Yeah. Because Halloween H2O, yeah, you did score it higher, but I don't
Yeah.
think it was that high.
No, it wasn't. I think it was in the 6s.
Yeah. And mine was in the 4.5 because I was really
Yeah.
disappointed. It was.
But I was like, it's still a fun, like 90s. It's fun. It's nostalgic. It's a nice little wrapped up story. And now this one, I'm trying to remember all the stuff, but
Yeah. See, it looked, some of it looked familiar, but yeah, I'm so excited to watch both these movies.
oh, this is going to be a fun double feature.
Yeah.
I'm totally going to watch these back to back.
Yeah. That would be nice. Yeah.
Right. I'm excited.
Okay, so that's our prediction. And with that, we are going to go watch these two movies and find out if they are indeed as good as we remember, or Anna likes Sleepaway Camp too, because she's never seen it.
True.
Yeah. So we will be back with our review of these movies.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat, and then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
I can't hear you. You're muted.
I'm talking away. I'm like, what a rude bitch. She's not even answering when I'm not talking. That's how her day went. Well, excuse me if my weekend wasn't as exciting as yours.
Well, I didn't hear anything, and I was like, "Oh, I guess he's distracted trying to put on the."
Well,
little,
when you asked, like,
countdown.
yeah, when you asked me for like the second time, how was my weekend? I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe there's something wrong. Welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. We are so happy you came along with us. I have watched both movies. Anna, you have watched both movies?
I have.
Let's start with our initial thoughts on, because it's right in front of me, Halloween Resurrection.
Um, Halloween Resurrection is a shit show, but a fun shit show. That's all
Okay.
I got for you.
Yeah, so I looked at this movie two ways. First, as a Halloween movie that takes place in one of four timelines. So the producers and studios are responsible for a lot of the mess that is Halloween. But
Mhm.
as a Halloween movie, it sucked. As a
Right,
Michael Myers movie, it blew. And it's not the only one. It's not the only Halloween movie that sucked. Second, as a slasher movie from that whole era of the late 90s and early 2000s, it's
Mhm.
not as bad as people made it out to be. It had
True.
some moments and it had some fun moments.
Mhm. I
And
concur.
for a shitty Halloween movie, it was kind of fun to watch.
It was fun to like, that was the one thing I took away from it when I watched it. I was like, "You know what? This is kinda quirky and fun. It's
Yeah,
very lighthearted." And I realized afterwards, I was like, "This was really a horror," and I'm totally using air quotes for this, "horror slasher movie for the masses."
yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
were doing this so that it could be marketed to the masses,
Yeah.
not just to horror fans. They weren't looking to make a great horror movie. They were looking to make a horror movie that a lot of people would wanna watch. And I
Yeah.
mean, I can't fault them for that because it's still entertaining.
Yeah. And they
And
still
Busta
want to make
Rhymes.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah. Busta Rhymes. Yeah.
Busta Rhymes.
And it
All you
definitely
need to say.
fell into that category
Yes.
of Scream. I'm not saying it's as good. Don't, I'm not. But I know what you did last summer
Yes.
and Urban Legend that we just watched, and
It had a
yeah.
definite early 2000s vibe to it,
Yes. Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's just a very specific vibe. That's it.
Yeah. So before we dive into the plot, and that's being kind, the plot was a mess, yet simplistic, and maybe one of the easiest Halloween movies to follow.
100%.
Yeah.
It was
It-
very, very clear, straightforward. There was no development, there was no depth, but
Nope,
God bless,
nothing.
we
Yeah.
weren't looking for that.
It had a bit of storyline with the original Halloweens that they took care of very early.
Yes.
And then that from that point on, yeah, it was pretty clear cut what it was doing. Okay, so before we do that, Halloween's first timeline is Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, and Halloween 5, and then probably the most confusing of all, and that doesn't mean it's not fun to watch as well, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Mhm.
Resurrection is not part of that timeline. Then we go Halloween, skip 81's part 2 and jump right to 2018, then Halloween Kills, then Halloween Ends. Resurrection is not part of that one. Rom Zombie did a reboot in 2007, a very confusing sequel in 2009,
Mm.
thanks to the meddling, those rascally Weinstein brothers, which we experienced with the Black Christmas reboot.
Yes.
Resurrection is not part of that one, nor is it part of the underrated and sometimes hated Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Actually, almost always hated Season of the Witch, but it
I was
does
gonna
have its
say.
fans. I don't remember that movie very well. That might be a good one to check out again.
The thing I remember most about that movie is just being very disappointed because I was like, "This is a Halloween movie without Michael Myers, and
Without
I don't
Michael Myers.
understand it."
Yeah. Resurrection is not part of that one either. Now, no, Resurrection is actually part of 1978, then Halloween 2 in 1991, skips all the niece stuff and goes right to Halloween H2. Oh my God, that movie sucked.
Mm.
And lands right here in 2002 in this movie. So never has a movie franchise said, well, that's not working. Fuck it. Let's try something else.
So many times, because 'cause they've other franchises have been like, "We went down the wrong path, let's just restart."
Yeah.
A lot of them have done that. This one is just kinda like, "We're gonna forget 3 to 6.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a new 3."
Yeah. Let's take this out and then just skip that. And yeah.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it's worked. I mean, like financially, anyways.
Oh, yeah.
I came across a story on my phone, which was the top 10 horror franchises. Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th was not on that list.
Mm.
I think Halloween was like fifth with
Mm,
like over $800 million. So it it's
makes
made
sense.
some money. Yeah. Yeah. Halloween's motto should be, if it's broke, don't fix it. Just get rid of it and start something new. And all right. So here we go. 3 years after the murder at Hillcrest Academy, a guilt-ridden Laurie Strode is institutionalized in Grace Anderson's sanitarium. It is revealed that the person she previously decapitated, whom she believed to be Michael Myers, was in fact a paramedic, and Michael had switched clothes with a rendered mute. Anticipating her brother's inevitable return, Laurie sets a trap on the sanitarium's roof. Okay, they should have just left Jamie Lee Curtis out of this movie.
They should have, however, they needed to explain Michael Myers.
Right. And
That
I
was it.
did, yeah,
Also, I think there were contractual obligations, and I think Jamie Lee Curtis was just like, "I'm not doing the entire fucking movie, but I'll give you, like, the beginning."
yeah.
So they
They
did a lot
paid
of,
her $3 million for that. So
and
good for
she
her.
earned every penny
Yeah.
because the poor woman is like, "Look, I already know I'm the face of this franchise, but could we not?" Um, but I like the way they did it. It was like
Well, I made a
new
note. Yeah.
new nurse, old nurse, kinda giving her, "Okay, here's what you need to know about her.
Yep.
Here's how the story went," little flashbacks. I was like, "Cool, cool, give me the story, this is great." And then we walk in and you see, like, throwbacks to H2O with the picture of Josh Hartnett on the wall, and, Laurie Strode's got longer hair. I'm like, "Good for you," because obviously she's not getting cute haircuts in the sanitarium.
No.
Yeah, so I was like, it's a solid start to catch
Yes.
us up.
Yeah. And if you're gonna bring Michael back, that must have been the best explanation you could give, despite the fact that Michael woke up in the ambulance and tried to kill her as she was driving it. Was the paramedic just trying to get her attention, bashing her head off the steering wheel?
Apparently, because that's how you say hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. You don't, like, just wave or, like, do pointing to the throat. None of that. No,
But for
no.
the most part, it was a decent effort to try to
Yes.
explain how this happened. Yes. And I like how they went back and they shot the scenes at the H2O ending. And yeah. So A for effort.
No, I'm like, you guys have explained it because I think they originally planned for H2O to just be a standalone
Yeah.
with the option for a second movie because that's what they do. They're like, "And we're gonna put in options into your contract." Then it made money, and then they were like, "Well, fuck, we should make a sequel."
Yep.
And then they did.
Yeah.
So they had to figure out a way to restart it again.
Now, Michael appears and chases Lori to the rooftop where her trap works and temporarily incapacitates Michael. Again, it's one of those things where he just stepped in the exact
Yeah.
right moment. But yeah. But I can see now at this point of the movie why Jamie Lee Curtis did it for the money. I can see her reading this part and going, well, at least they're paying me $3 million. However, Laurie's fears of killing the wrong person again get the better of her. When she attempts to remove his mask to confirm his identity, Michael stabs and throws her off the rooftop to her death.
Mm.
I'm embarrassed, but I think I actually might have thought this was clever back in the day. Like,
God bless.
yeah,
I didn't think it was clever. I thought it was, like, super cliche, and I was like, "Okay, fine." Like, back in
yeah,
the day and now, I'm just like, "Sure." But I was like, I mean, she's in a sanitarium. It's not
yeah,
like she has a bunch of tools she can work with.
no,
Although the slightly unbalanced guy who's obsessed with serial killers, he has a lot of arts and crafts stuff. I'm just
yes,
saying.
yeah, he could have taken some of his stuff, and I did like
Concerning.
that character. I did like that whole
Yeah,
part,
with
and
the
that was
security
great.
guards and
Yeah,
yeah, love it.
on now, like even that, I made a note with because the one guy's getting candy because he's
Mm,
hungry, and he hears some scuffling down the hall. Walks down the hall. The dryer's going.
yes,
Opens the dryer, finds the head,
of
and
course.
then backs up and trips over the decapitated body. I'm
Correct.
like, dude, how the fuck did you not see that body?
Well, the overhead light, the one and only
Yeah,
overhead light was
it must have
swinging.
swung the wrong way. Yeah, and he didn't
So
see
he
it.
just kept
Fair
missing
enough.
it when the light was lighting the body up.
On Halloween, college students Sarah Moyer, Bill Woodlake, Donna Chang, Jen Danzig,
Danzig?
Danzig, Jim Morgan, and Rudy Grimes win a competition to appear on the internet reality show called Dangertainment, directed by Freddie Harris and Nora Winston. We're introduced to the students. Great introduction. Get a feel for who's who's going to make it, who's going to be like first to go type thing.
Mm.
And I totally got a Scream. And again, I'm not saying this movie is as good as Scream. Calm down, people. Everyone getting their
Have
panties in
you
a
been
bunch here.
getting like angry letters about this?
But know what you did last summer, urban legend vibe with the college and that type of thing.
Yeah.
The students have to spend a night in Michael's abandoned childhood house in order to figure out what led him to kill. However, while setting up cameras throughout the house in preparation for the show, cameraman Charlie is killed by Michael, who has returned to Haddonfield. Charlie getting killed had to be the longest, slowest death ever.
I like how he just kind of stared at Michael as Michael was very slowly walking towards him.
Yeah, like maybe if they showed that Freddy had that costume first,
Mm.
and maybe he thought it was Freddy, that would, because it would, like I wrote down, like, did Charlie forget how to run? Oh no, he was cornered, wasn't he?
He got cornered.
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
got cornered.
start
He didn't start
cornered.
cornered. Yeah.
But he just kept walking backwards as Michael was advancing and not trying to like get away from him. I was like, are you just like, it's a hallway.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm going to just put myself in the corner of these two
It's
walls.
like he knew he was cannon fodder.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Like, I'm not fame enough to survive. Guess I might as well stand here for a few minutes.
Yep. And then Michael framed up the camera and everybody was pleased.
Yep. And Tyra Banks, Nora, on Charlie's ass the whole time, makes the longest latte ever.
Can I tell you how much that latte angered me? I was like, first of all, it does not take that long to pull an espresso.
No.
Second of all, you don't even see her frothing the milk, but all of a sudden she's pouring warm milk. I was like, fine, whatever. I'm not even that mad about that. And then she puts on like a cup of whipped cream, which I'm like, girl, come on. And then it's just messy. And she's dipping something in it and stirring it around. I think it was like a piece of chocolate. I was like, why?
Yeah, she's one of these people that go to Starbucks and
Oh, she's a half calf.
yeah,
Half calf, 1.5 pumps of cinnamon dolce, 1.5 pumps of thing, and then just like a half pump of simple syrup, but not too much. She's one of those.
Yeah.
I hate those people.
And she's just dancing, and I make lattes every day. I dance, I shake my ass, not for that long. Come on.
Well, I love that they're in like a shed/garage that's falling down.
Yeah.
Have all this incredibly expensive, and then there's that one espresso machine.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? And the milk to steam the espresso was in that little thermos. So I was like, why don't you just go to the coffee shop? Like, I don't understand. Anyways.
All right. On
Anyway.
Halloween night, equipped with head cameras, Sarah, Bill, Donna, Jen, Jim, and Rudy enter the house and separate into 3 groups to search for clues. While Sarah messaged friends, Miles, Deckard, Barton, and who watches the live broadcast during a party. During the search, Michael suddenly appears and kills Bill. Okay, so Thomas Ian Nichols was Bill. For those listening, that is the guy from American Pie.
Yes, the one who cannot act.
Yeah.
No matter what he's in.
Yeah. And his death was okay. And if anyone's listening, this is where American Pie is looking in a mirror and Michael comes bursting through it from the next room and grabs Bill. Do you know how embarrassing that would have been if Michael burst through the mirror and Bill wasn't there? That's what I actually thought. Like, embarrassing. Like, would he just be like, huh?
Interesting. You do realize he would have seen him or not?
What's that?
Through the mirror, he would have seen him, especially if it was an older mirror.
Didn't he come through the wall?
No, he came through the mirror.
Oh, like behind the...
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
he was in the room.
He was in the wall. And
Oh.
through the... Haven't you ever...
No.
I was about to say, haven't you ever been in a wall? Never
No.
mind. I have.
We had Legos and stuff. I didn't live like people under the stairs.
Shit, that's another one. I love that movie.
Actually, I like that movie too. I remember,
I remember
this whole
liking
thing
it.
is
Yeah, honestly, every time I see an old movie that I'm like, "Oh my god," I'm like, "Wait,
Yeah. It
I
might
don't wanna
not be that
ruin
good
it."
anymore.
This is terrible. This is why I haven't watched Roadhouse again.
Oh, I bet it's bad. In a
Probably.
good way. I bet it's bad in a good way.
I'm so afraid to watch it. Anyways, that's not the point. The point
No.
is, first kill of, like, the young-ish teens, eh, it was alright. It wasn't the greatest, it wasn't very elaborate. It's just kinda like he bursts through and kills him. Hmm?
Yeah. Okay, I'm noticing like, holy God, that's not my lights. I went swimming today and it was very sunny. I refuse to get burnt again. This is a lot of sunblock.
Oh,
Yeah, like if you like you could see like it's really, really white.
yeah, but
Yeah,
you're also
me and
just
my
really
me and my
pale, so
me and my white man problems. Jesus Christ.
it is so hard being a cisgendered heterosexual white man.
I know.
My god, I don't know how you make it through the day.
Everyone bitching at me every time I leave the house. I have to hide him with my pool and sunblock and
So
so I don't go out anymore.
Nah,
All
I
right.
wouldn't either if I were you.
So so he was in the wall and came through. He didn't come
Yes.
through another room. Okay.
No, no.
So he knew what he was doing. I thought he guessed.
No, no, he knew
Okay.
exactly what he was doing.
Okay. Donna and Jim discover a wall filled with fake corpses and realize that the show is a setup before the former is killed by Michael. Okay,
Mm,
first, Jim, Luke Kirby, was hitting on Donna, Daisy McCracken, nonstop.
yes.
And she was like, no, you're a loser.
Yes.
But they have some sexual banter.
Mhm.
I did write down that one Jim said, like, great legs. What time do they open?
Yes. Yes.
She gives him the finger and he said that'd be 1 o'clock. That was clever
Yeah.
for a douche.
Here the dialogue of this movie is not the worst.
No, not at all. No, it's
There's
not.
some very clever stuff in it.
Yep. And some very clever reactions. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's not because when we went over those Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb,
Mm.
they were ruthless on this.
They really were. They really, really were, but I think it's also because we kind of understand the time, and
Yeah.
we also understand the marketing of this, because once you start watching this, especially if you're a horror fan or a slasher movie fan, you know that this movie was not made for those fans. This movie was made to appeal to a mass audience,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
okay.
People looking just for a scary movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but, like,
You're
this
looking for a
movie
Halloween movie.
this is not it. If you're
No.
looking for an actual scary movie, this is not it. If you're
No.
looking for a movie that's gonna make you, wanna hide behind a pillow or, get you to the edge of your seat, this is not that movie.
No.
It's a fun movie,
Yeah.
but
It's a
it's
fun
not.
slasher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
No, no, no. And of course, as soon as she thinks no one is looking, she whores it up. Donna is like, no cameras down here. Let's make some coitus. Uh, that isn't a quote from the movie. Don't.
No.
Well, I'm not watching that. Jeez, they just said the
Although
dialogue was good.
although Jim was very into the super smartness.
Yes,
Like, when
yeah.
they started making out, he's like, "Say
Say
something
something
smart."
smart. Yeah.
It's like, "What?"
Uh,
But okay. Go Jim, who's played by Luke Kirby.
he's had an okay career. When I was doing this, he's done some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the party, Deckard and other party goers witnessed the murder, but only Deckard realized that it was real. Yes, we also have Deckard, which is an online name. Back in the day, if you remember, online interaction wasn't as fluid or like as we learned from hackers back in the day. Going online, you needed a cool nickname.
Yeah. Everybody had to have their own handle.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't just walk out there with your own name. It's
No.
crazy talk.
Yeah, you'd be a loser.
Such a loser. And then, your email address also had to have
Something cool. Yeah.
something cool in it. I
Yeah.
did not do that, and I'm still using the same email address to this day because I refuse to change it. Everybody's like, "Hotmail."
Yeah, I have
Oh
a
my
Hotmail.
god.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, Hotmail.
yeah.
You got a problem with? I got a Gmail too, but I don't use that one. It's the one I put down for all the people who are like, "Can we contact you?" Sure, sure. But anyways,
I've
that's
even had people in where I'm just signing stuff, doing
yeah.
things, and they're like, "Hotmail? What's up,
Do you
Grandpa?"
do you know how many times when I'm buying stuff and they're like, "Do you have an email for our rewards program?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And then I tell them my email and I'm like, "At hotmail.com." They're like, "Really? Hotmail?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm old as shit. Let's go."
yeah,
They're like, "You can get a Gmail one for free." And I'm like, "You know what, little girl? Just ring through my purchase.
yeah,
Give me
yeah.
my
Mind your
points."
business. Meanwhile, Freddy enters the house dressed as Michael in order to scare the competitors. He is
Mm,
followed by the real Michael, whom he mistakes for Charlie. This was stupid yet
so stupid.
funny.
Yeah, but
I
I
know what they were going for, but when Michael is like, is this motherfucker talking to me? Like Michael got so confused, he's like, okay, I guess I better go to the
he was like,
garage.
"What?" But here's my Busta Rhymes through this entire movie is a
I
gift.
did enjoy Busta Rhymes in this movie. He was awesome.
'Cause there were a couple glimpses where you're like, "Okay, this is him, like, being an actor." And then there were other times where I'm like, "The director told you to camp it up, didn't they?"
Yeah.
Like, to
Like
be
when he's
that
watching that
sleazy
kung fu movie
producer. Yeah, oh god,
and
yeah.
that someone knocked the door and he got all pissy.
Yes.
Just watches
But
kung
then he gets
fu.
really tender when he's talking to Sarah at the door.
Yeah.
When Sarah's like, "I'm gonna drop out," and he's like, Sarah, fear is you gotta use fear to motivate you. It pushes us." And he gives this really great, like, heartfelt speech, and then he's like, "Fuck, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
That was
Sometimes I come
great."
up with some great
Yeah.
shit.
And he's like, "I'm gonna pat myself on the back," and then he
Yeah.
pats himself on the back, and I was like, "Oh my god." And he goes
Oh,
back and he's like, "I'm gonna watch some Wei Chung," and I was like, "What the fuck is?" I love him
yeah.
so much
Yeah,
because
he
he's
definitely helped this movie. I'm sure a
oh,
lot of people thought
100%.
he hurt this movie, but when you're
No.
watching it for what it is, he definitely helped this movie. Yeah.
Yes. If you watch this movie with a sense of humor, you're gonna be like, "Busta, you're my favorite."
Yeah. Which also means though, Freddie sent Michael to kill Nora because he demanded Michael go out to the garage and
Mm.
help Nora.
True
And Michael
story.
did.
It's all Freddy's fault.
When Rudy, Sarah, and Jim find Freddie in the Michael costume, he reveals the scheme to them and begs them to cooperate, telling them that they will all be paid well if the show works out. I love the line. I wrote it down. Where is it? You hitting me like I killed your mother. Because he's like, damn, man, you're hitting me like I killed your own mother. After Freddie leaves, the trio decide to gather up the rest of their friends and leave. Actually, doesn't Jim agree to stay for the money?
Jim does not decide to leave, but nor does he decide to stay. He just says, "I could use the
I could use
money."
the money. Yeah,
But he doesn't say yes or no either way. He's just kinda standing there.
right. This is when Jen discovers Bill's corpse and Michael decapitates her in front of Rudy, Sarah, and Jim, who soon
Yes.
realize that it isn't Freddie. I did like this because this isn't the first time Jen screamed like this. She did
No.
it as a joke. She did it because she was scared.
Jen is very much an attention seeker, and she's
Yeah,
hamming it up, and she's, like, pushing the envelope, and she's like, "What's gonna get me more airtime?" Which, fine. But then when she screams and everybody's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever," coupled with the whole Freddie and Michael's outfit, they're like, "Sure, sure," and she, like, actually looks terrified until, her head and I will admit, one of my favorite things in a movie is a decapitated head rolling down the stairs
yeah, yeah. It's
with the
cool.
bounces. It's one of my favorite things, and this one was actually pretty good, and you could see that they put money into the FX
Yeah, because
because
her
that head
face was
was actually
still
really good.
it
Yeah,
was, yeah, because she was still in mid-scream.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I
it
was
was
like,
really good.
That's very nice, that's very nice." Also, we need to flag that she comes out of a room where her and Rudy were smoking up, which is fine.
That was funny.
Yeah, when she opens the door, there a plume of smoke comes out. I was like,
Yeah,
she was hotboxing,
yeah,
and I appreciate her for that.
and then Rudy's like, "I'm glad there's no cameras in here," and she's laughing. She's like, "Dude, we're wearing cameras on our head." They just start
And
laughing.
then they just start laughing.
That was a good scene too.
Yeah.
Michael proceeds to kill Jim and Rudy before chasing Sarah upstairs. Okay, Rudy put up a much better fight than Jim. Michael just
Yes.
picked Jim up by the head and crushed his skull.
Yeah, Jim just stood there and looked at him.
Yeah, Rudy with those knives put up a decent fight,
Mm-hmm.
but he
I
did not
appreciate
win.
him.
Yeah,
No, he got a
locking.
knife to the chest, no? Yeah, and it went right through the door. That
Yeah,
I liked.
yeah, that was good too.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's not none of the kills were like the greatest kills, but
No,
most of
there
them were
were some solid
decent.
ones, yeah.
Yeah. Locking herself in a bedroom, Sarah begs Deckard to help her. As the other party goers realize that all the murders are real, Deckard begins to message Sarah Michael's locations to help her avoid him. I thought this was a clever, fun twist to the movie.
Mm,
Since they had access to all the cameras and he could do that for her. What was unfortunate was the way they used the texting. If
yes.
it was real time, something we can't
Yeah.
even do now. Thank
Nope.
God.
Nope.
But I know
We've
they were
only got
using
the
it
3
for
dots now. We don't get words popping up letter by letter.
yeah,
That used to
yeah.
drive me bananas.
And I knew they were using it for dramatic effect, especially when it's spelled he is in the house
Yeah.
one letter at a time. It didn't ruin it for me, but I did notice it.
That's the one thing about the tech. Don't get me wrong, some of it was fantastic. Like when Nora makes a phone call or answers a phone call, her cell phone. I was like, "Oh my god, I remember those cell phones. They were so cool." And then they weren't. And you see like the computers are literally the size of a desk. Like
Yeah.
they're ginormous.
Yeah.
And then that person, because it wasn't a cell phone. That's like a personal the thing that what's her name was using. Sarah. It's oh god. It was
Like a
like a personal
BlackBerry? One of those
it's kinda
no,
like a
one of those note things.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a personal planner,
Yeah.
like digital planner.
Which I
So
don't think back then would have
no.
worked. No, or even been a thing.
It they had just been introduced, I think, and I think a lot of people did not understand how they worked.
Yeah.
So you had to be connected to the internet, which I thought was super funny because I was like, "Girl, I don't know if this is in the was there Wi-Fi at this point?"
2002. I'm sure I don't know because I know Wi-Fi. When was good question? When was Wi-Fi?
Oh yeah, no, there's Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Released for
yeah.
consumers in 97.
Look at that.
It took a lot though, and it was those big
Yeah.
that had like a bunch of
It was
antennas on
but
them.
anyways, I appreciate it. It lost some, like, of the thing, but, I mean, you see this stuff, and then you're like, "Wow," like, Deckard or Miles or whatever, he's at a desk, at a computer, and he's playing and I was trying to remember, I was like, "Was live streaming that smooth at the time?"
No,
This
was
kinda
not.
stuff
Yeah, and
drew me
that's
out
the
a little bit.
Drew. Yes, didn't make me hate it, but it did
No.
make me question it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
had a couple moments where I was just like, no, you couldn't live stream a show." And also
not
I was
that smooth.
no, and I was also just mad at Freddie and Nora because those are 2 of the shittiest producers/directors I've ever seen in my life, especially for a live broadcast, especially.
Leaving on the Made in Taiwan stuff.
Well, not even the leaving they weren't directing any of the shots. They
No,
weren't deciding what was gonna be the, like they just had all feeds going, and I was like, "We didn't have, like, super fast speed internet back then."
no, that was like that Big Brother used to do that, did they not?
They
But that
still do.
wasn't back in 2002. That was
No,
much, much
that
later.
was much later, but
Yeah.
I like, through that, I actually got angry when they're pouring the wine in the gr and not even paying attention to what's on the screen. I was like, "You are doing a live broadcast and you're not even looking to see
Yeah.
what the feed is?" I was so mad. Anyways,
Okay, where are we? Who got killed here? No.
Jim got his face crushed, then Rudy got stabbed through the door.
Right. Sarah runs into Freddy just as Michael finds him and stabs the ladder. Being Freddy. Freddy character was great, like better
Yes.
man than me. Like he's apologetic. He tells her he had no idea after he found out Michael's room
Yeah.
was under the house. I'd be like, out of the way, bitch.
Oh my god, but did I don't know if you noticed this, but I did. Every time they tried to move quietly through the house to avoid Michael after they get a message from Deckard, Busta Rhymes, aka Freddy, would crouch. Every single time he was like, "Okay, let's try to get out of the house." He would immediately crouch and
Yeah.
they'd look.
I didn't even notice that.
I noticed it the first time and I was like, "Oh, that's adorable." And then he kept doing it. And I was like, "Sir, do you think that makes you quieter?"
Yeah, because it's not like he's real small. You could crouch all you want, dude.
You can crouch on you're still just as heavy. The floors are still gonna creak. Her
Yeah.
phone is or her planner, her digital planner is still gonna ding,
Still gonna ding.
but by all means, feel free to crouch. But he kept doing it, and I loved it, and I don't know if the director noticed it, or if he encouraged it, or he gave up because he just kept doing it, but
Yeah.
I loved it. So ridiculous.
Yeah, because Freddie even got Michael, because Michael chases Sarah up the stairs.
Yes.
Freddie even got Michael to chase him away
Yep.
from her,
Yep. Something
where
you would never do.
I would use Sarah as a shield
Of course.
because I identify as someone who wants to live. This is where Freddie uses his kung fu also.
Yes, and it was
Which,
so good.
yeah, which by the looks of it, it was self-taught
100%,
from
yes.
the movies he watched. Because Michael whips Busta Rhymes around. Wow.
Mm.
And I wish they leaned more into that with Michael. Like more times than not, he's being thwarted by people with a push or a kick. Like the new Halloween movies, like the first 2018, especially Halloween Kills, that is a Michael you do not want to run into.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like Kills, but they're all stupid. Sarah
Well, how you
runs
really
into
feel.
Sarah runs into the tunnel and finds an exit leading to the garage, where she discovers Nora's body. Michael again arrives and attacks Sarah, but a still living Freddy finds him and fights Michael as an electrical fire starts in the garage. I like electrocuting his balls. I
Mhm.
don't know if blood works like water because he threw it into the thing into the
Yeah,
pool of
but
blood.
I mean, blood is a lot of water.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a scientist. I'm not even
I'm not
really
a
smart.
scientist either, but if someone is a scientist who is listening to this right now, could you please tell us
Yeah.
if blood is a conduit for electricity? I feel like it is, because when I go to donate blood, if I do not drink enough water, my blood is too thick, and it takes forever for it to, like, be siphoned off. However, if I drink a lot of water, then it's a lot easier and it flows a lot easier, which I think has to do with just water density. So I'm gonna vote
Well,
for
maybe.
yes.
Yeah, maybe it
It
can.
it can conduct electricity. Whether or not that's true, who knows? But maybe someone will tell us.
Sarah could have made it out of the garage.
100%.
She took a long time, enough time for Michael to get out of underground through the house and out into the garage.
She could have gotten out of the garage before that,
Yeah,
but of course she had to knock over the lawnmower, so that only the handle was over the piece of furniture or the box that she threw on top of the tunnel. But whatever, it's fine.
yeah,
Here's where I got really annoyed and angry. There's a mixing board on a very thin
yeah.
metal shelf. I know how much both of those weigh. That girl should have been able to easily kick it off of her.
Yeah,
Like,
they
that's
don't weigh very much.
at the most, she had maybe 20, 25 pounds on her.
Yeah,
Maybe. And her upper body wasn't, like, tied down, so she had a range of motion.
yeah.
But no, she laid there struggling for no good goddamn reason. That really pissed me off.
After electrocuting Michael, Freddy carries Sarah to safety, leaving Michael to die in the burning garage.
Mhm.
Later, Freddy and Sarah are interviewed by the local news, during which Sarah thanks Deckard for saving her life, and Freddy assaults the reporter. Verbally, maybe assaulted the
Yeah,
reporter, or more like a loud response.
very loud
It is
response of like,
Busta Rhymes.
"The fuck is wrong with you guys?" There were a lot of motherfuckers in this, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that because if you're in this kinda situation, Imma throw at motherfucker a lot.
Oh, I'd be swearing so much.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Meanwhile, Michael is presumed dead and his body is taken to the morgue. This coroner was freaked out when she found out it was Michael Myers, and rightfully so. I'd
Yes.
be like, nope, I'm the fuck out.
Yep.
You know he's opening his eyes and coming back to life. She knew it. You could see it in her face. Like, I know if I open this bag, this fucker's eyes are going to open.
She's like, he's going to jump out. He's going to jump out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
However, as the coroner prepares to examine his body, Michael suddenly awakens.
Yes.
And that is the end of Halloween Resurrection. All right, we're doing our new scoring system. I did find
Yes.
out a couple of cheats that we can do if you want to use it, because basically it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mhm.
We now score it by buy it, rent it, stream it, skip it. And I still think we should have a special badge of honor for so bad it's good.
And we will.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's Anna's score on Halloween Resurrection?
Stream it. Stream it. It's ridiculous. It is fun. It has some very it has some moments of very clever dialogue. Overall, it's a fun time, but it's not a good time. You know? Like it's not something that you're going to put on the shelf and be like, this is a classic. Let's watch it again. I will watch this again 100 times. Why? Because Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes is entertaining. This movie is entertaining. But if you're a horror fan or a slasher movie fan, like this is not going to satisfy you. And that's okay. So I'd say stream it. If you haven't seen it before, definitely stream it.
Yeah. Okay. My score. Like I said before we started going over the movie, as a standalone slasher flick, it's okay. As a Halloween movie, it kind of sucks. Fact is, it's a Halloween movie that kind of sucks. But it's also kind of fun to watch. You will remember the online camera watching rage of the late 90s, early 2000s. Busta Rhymes is awesome, cheesy, but awesome. The cast is great for some good old nostalgia, and they can act for the most part. The dialogue is fine. Yes, this movie is the most distant from the actual Halloween storylines, any of them. But it's not a waste of time. Laurie Strode, as downright stupid as it is, Michael is in it, and so is his house. HBO didn't even have all three. At least you get Laurie Strode, Michael, and his house. Not at one moment did I think I was wasting my time. Was it bad? Yeah. Should they have resurrected Michael one more time for this movie? Probably not, but they did. And if you're a fan of Halloween movies, you can't not include this in a Halloween marathon or a Halloween movie rotation. You'll find a bad Halloween movie, but an okay slasher flick. And you will find some fun and familiarity that definitely outweighs the skip it rating. So I do say as well, stream it. Yeah, because if you liked it back then, you'll get a kick out of Michael Myers, albeit not the best Michael Myers. If you're a fan of Halloween but remember hating Resurrection, I would say give it a shot with expectations really low.
Yes, and also I noted this actually when I was watching it. I was like, is Michael Myers skinny now?
Yeah, he's not as...
He wasn't as broad-shouldered and I was like, I remember him being thicker.
Yeah, I remember in H2O, I think we said the same thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't as... Because we compared it to the new movie where he is a much bigger dude.
Yeah, he's a lot more solid.
Yeah.
In the newer... But in this one, I was like, you seem a little dainty.
Yeah. Yeah, not as over... Like, I mean, he's got a mask and a knife, I mean.
Well, yeah. But he's not physically imposing other than the whole, I'm going to kill you and not be stopped.
Yeah.
But he's like, if you just see him, he's not physically imposing. So I was just like,
yeah,
I remember you being like broader in the shoulders and a little thicker, but okay.
Yeah. I still say they should have left Laurie Strode out of it and just bypassed her and went like Jason Voorhees, like, yeah, she did kill him, but he's back somehow. So deal with it.
Honestly, if they had just had a conversation, Like if it
Yeah.
was a couple cops or whatever just being like, "Oh, we should probably keep an eye out since, Michael Myers, then we never found him after the last thing. Yeah, he knocked out the paramedic and replaced him, blah, blah, blah." If they had just had that conversation and then just made it a Michael Myers is going home
Yeah.
kind of vibe, it also would have worked, and poor Jamie Lee Curtis wouldn't have had to do this movie.
No. And you would have saved 3 million.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah.
But nope, they wanted to insist that she be in it.
Could it be rebooted? Knowing Halloween, it probably will be.
Honestly, the concept is super fun,
I wrote that down. Yeah.
and I think right now we have the tech that it's super plausible.
Yeah.
Like, back then, this concept was far-fetched and it seemed unreal. Now,
Oh, totally.
100%
Yeah.
perfect timing to do a reboot for this.
It'd
I'm
make a
not
great.
suggesting it.
No, but it'd make it great like Friday 13th, setting up cameras at Crystal Lake.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Especially with now the political climate and gender controversies. If you played it smart and you go right down the middle, playing both sides fairly and throw in some boomers and Xers and millennials and Gen Zs, that could be a really fun movie.
So what you're saying is you want a battle of the generations?
Yeah. And then
Who
just
will
have
survive?
Jason Voorhees just lopping up or Michael Myers. I don't care.
Somebody's just killing everybody.
That could be fun. All right. So we both said stream it for Halloween Resurrection.
Correct.
Which brings us to Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. I have watched it. My initial thoughts: where are all the short shorts and crop tops for the boys? I did not see one outline of a cock once. The fuck?
So disappointing. So
Remember Ronnie?
disappointing. However, TC shorts were a little short.
A little
Not short
short.
shorts.
Not like
but
old
they
Ronnie's.
No, not like Ronnie's, but they did show off his very muscular thighs.
Yes.
I
yeah.
actually made a note where I was like, TC's got some thick thighs. And I appreciate that about TC, who now is an old man. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's fine. Whatevs. I have thoughts about this movie.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's also too bad. It's too bad Felicia Rose, who played Angela in the first movie, couldn't work out with this movie. If you're listening to this, we did in the trivia part of our live show, Angela did read it. She didn't really hit the comedy parts, and she was getting ready to go to school, I believe. And that's our trivia segment as part of our live recording every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Check it out. It was not as serious as Sleepaway Camp, which is weird because Sleepaway Camp was too cheap to be actually taken as serious as it wanted to be. But yeah, I have some thoughts too. Like this movie was definitely self-aware and did not take itself serious.
Oh, this movie was straight up going for laughs.
Yeah.
Straight up going for laughs.
So let's dive into Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. 5 years after the events of the first film, a girl named Phoebe tells Phoebe. Was it Phoebe?
It's Phoebe, but they call her Phoebe.
Phoebe tells a group of boys at campfire about the killings at Camp Arawak. Her head counselor, Angela Baker, posing as Angela Johnson, forces her to go back to the cabin. After the pair get into an argument, Angela bashes a log over Phoebe's head and then removes her tongue for having a filthy mouth. So this movie did not take any time into diving into the killing. Yeah, it didn't take long at all.
No, it went straight in.
Yeah.
Straight in. And I only have one complaint about that murder. There was not enough blood. Because when you cut off someone's tongue,
yeah,
there's like a waterfall of blood.
Yeah.
So I was very upset that there was not any blood coming out.
I don't know
of
if
her mouth.
anyone knew that, but yeah, for this movie, because what they did later on, they should have just had someone had it just spraying everywhere.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like when she moves her hand away and drops the thing, they should have just before, there should have been a quick cut and her mouth should have just bubbled over with blood. They should have just filled her mouth with blood and just have her open her mouth and let it pour out.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was my one. And I was like, there should be more blood. Basic anatomy.
And where the first movie made it a secret and a reveal, this movie makes no attempt to hide who the killer is. None.
Nope. That actually surprised me. I was like, "Oh, we're right out the gate. We
Yep.
know it's her." Okay.
The next day, campers Molly, Allie, Mare, Demi, Leah, and sisters Brooke and Jody Shote.
I
What were
think
they
they're
called again? The
shote.
Shote sisters?
Yeah, but then they called them the shit sisters.
That's right. Question Angela on the whereabouts of Phoebe's. Phoebe, she tells them she had to send her home. I already didn't like Angela. Like, she yelled at those girls for having their titties hang out. And it's like, fuck you, Angela. They're not hurting anyone.
Okay, but I will say this.
So
I un
gratuitous.
I understand that Allie is supposed to be a very promiscuous character. But there is no you're not gonna just walk around with your titties all free swinging.
And you wonder why I had these delusions as a child.
Yeah, I understand it now, and if honestly, if young men and boys are watching movies like this, they're sitting there going, "Well, they all sleep in the nude." And while some women do sleep in the nude, I can tell you right now, if you have any manners and you're sleeping in a room with like 8 other girls, you don't sleep in the nude with them in the room.
Not if you're Allie.
Not if you're Allie, apparently. And then she what gets out of bed. She doesn't put on a t-shirt. No, she hangs it around her neck.
Yep.
But still, free titties.
Yeah, and I think Mare also showed her titties in this scene. There was a second girl.
Does she?
Yeah, because when Angela leaves, the second girl turns around and lifts up her shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
Later that day, also, Allie was like, what did she say? Hold on. Like, who's gonna see me anyways or see them anyways? And then it cuts to those boys, one sitting on the guy's
Yeah.
shoulders. He has a Polaroid. And he's like, the tit patrol is. First, I laughed because it was a Polaroid camera.
Yes.
Later that day, Angela discovers Brooke and Jody, the two sisters, smoking marijuana and drinking alcohol. She initially let them go, only to find them fornicating with one of the boys the next day. Okay, so let's go back. Angela and Uncle John.
Mm,
First off, kids, if you're listening, don't ever trust an old man that tells you to call him uncle.
true story.
Yeah, especially one that's not related to you.
If you have not grown up with him in your life,
Yeah,
he's trying to touch you inappropriately.
yeah.
Okay? Don't call him uncle.
Yeah, this is a one-way road to being pedophile.
Did
Like,
you
look,
say pedophile?
just call me Uncle Jimmy. See how fucking creepy that sounds?
That's terrible. Never say that shit again.
That's creepy.
Oh my
Oh,
god. Pedophile.
yeah.
Sorry.
Uncle John makes her counselor of the week. We go to the pool. Sean is trying to put the moves on Molly,
Yes.
the nice girl. The
Uh-huh.
camp whore, Allie. And when I say whore, I don't mean this in a bad way. Please don't take it as a bad way. Personally, one of my favorites
How do
of the
you
movie.
not take whore in a bad way?
Obviously, the way you're taking it is a bad way, but that's not.
If there are many things you can call Allie, but whore is probably not the best. Um,
You said, yeah. See, notice how you didn't say it was wrong. You just say not the best. Technically, I
well,
guess she's
no,
a
because
bit
if it was
hoary.
1987, we'd probably be calling her a whore, and then we would realize that is an incredibly like shitty thing to call any woman.
Oh,
She's obviously having a, a mental crisis.
I actually thought about that for all the stuff that she does and goes through this movie. I'm like, this chick needs some therapy. Like, I'm not
So
saying
much
this
therapy.
derogatory. I meant this like she needs some serious. She needs
No,
a
she's
hug
got
and some real
issues.
therapy.
Like, I'm concerned for her. I'm concerned for her because I'm like, this is all just cries for help.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh,
100%. It's just cries for help. And
and
I'm
I don't
like,
know if they meant to
girl,
write it that way, but yeah,
no, I have a feeling there's an absentee father. I have a
yeah.
feeling
There's a few
that
things.
there's a mother who focuses entirely too much on how much attention a man pays to you and not like I feel like this girl needs therapy. So we can call her cries for help. Her crying for help ways. There we go. Instead of
Okay.
calling her a whore.
Doesn't have the same ring to it, but
No,
okay.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Because what was I saying? Yes, we're talking about girls at a camp.
Mm.
All these girls look old.
Can I tell you? It fucked me up because I thought
They're
in
not
the very beginning.
counselors.
Sorry?
I thought they were all counselors.
Me too. I thought they were all counselors. Like it was counselors sitting around the bonfire. It's the counselor's cabin. Like that's
Yeah.
what I really thought it was. And then when Angela gets announced as the counselor of the week, I'm like, "Oh my god, are these the fucking campers?"
Yeah, that's what I thought. Look at Uncle Jimmy being all pedophiled. Because I honestly thought the first, right up until actually then, they're all counselors.
I
So
thought they
they're
were
in
all
their
counselors
20s.
too.
Yeah.
But
Because they
no,
are all in their 20s.
don't get me
And
wrong. Camp counselors usually you start being a counselor at like 17, 18.
yeah.
Perfectly normal. But I'm like, very rarely do you see campers at 17 and 18.
Yeah.
Like
And
16 is usually the most.
these 17 or 18-year-olds look like 25, 26-year-olds.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But Allie does have very voluminous hair.
Yeah.
Like that hair is very large.
Yep. Very 80s.
Oh, 100%.
So Sean is trying to put the moves on Molly, the nice girl.
Mhm.
Allie is like, I want Sean, manipulates poor, was it Rob?
I think it was Rob.
Into throwing her into the pool wearing just a t-shirt. She pops up and those nipples are just coming right through that t-shirt.
Staring right at Sean.
Yep. And we learned in our trivia part, which is every Wednesday at 9 p.m. live on YouTube and Facebook and even Twitter. And we got
Hey, Emilio, party hats at 2 o'clock.
All right.
party hats at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, when I heard them say that, I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, because
girl."
they cut out because they were in the state of Georgia, wouldn't let them say, "Hey, Emilio, check out those nips."
Yeah.
So they changed it, which I think is better. Party hats at 2.
It feels a lot younger.
Yeah.
Party hats. God bless. But I thought it was really funny because she comes out of the water, t-shirt sticking to her, see-through. Sean and Molly just kind of look back and they're like, "Okay, hey."
Yeah.
And then they go back to having a conversation.
And she looked very disappointed.
She looked so disappointed, and I felt bad about that. And I was like, I wanted to be like, "Do you need to talk to a counselor? Because this is
Obviously, you're not
concerning."
one.
Yeah.
You're a camper.
Yeah.
Later that day, Angela discovers Brooke and Jody smoke. No, did I already do that? Yes, no. Yes, we're going back to that. Marijuana and
Yeah.
drinking alcohol. She initially let them go, only to find them fornicating the next day with the boys. A boy the next day. Angela chases the boy off. Afterward, Brooke wakes up on a grill because they're passed out and discovers Jody's charred remains in front of her. Angela then pours gasoline over Brooke and burns her to death. She said, "Let this be a lesson to you."
Yeah, the lesson is don't have a crazy counselor.
Yeah. Or don't do drugs and smoke and drink and fornicate.
Yes, but all of these, like, campers are in their 20s, so this just makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the sisters was passed out, so, I mean, it's not like they
Yeah.
were both
Yeah. She
fornicating.
didn't even do anything. Well, I guess she
She was
did
just
the drugs
napping.
and drinking.
Well, the drugs and
Alleged.
the drink, whatever, it's fine. She didn't No, she did see them doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Angela's a rascal. She's
Yes.
yeah. And she just keeps telling everybody, I had to send them home.
Yeah, that was the best.
Yeah. And to all you wannabe serial killers out there, this is not a sustainable method of killing by just
No.
telling people you had to send them home. Eventually, it's going to come and bite you in the ass.
I had to send them home, they were trying to sleep with everybody. That was basically the story for every single person. Had to send them home, they were trying to have sex. I don't know.
That night, the boys start a panty raid, which Angela breaks up.
Mm.
Angela is such a buzzkill, man.
Um,
Again, more gratuitous nudity.
of course. But I mean, at least this time it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, interrupted. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're getting ready for bed.
Yeah.
It's not just, "Hello, here are my titties."
Yeah, there was a reason for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, during a jockstrap raid against the boys,
Mm,
Mare flashes her breasts. Angela decides to drive her home and murders her with an electric drill. To
yes.
be fair, Angela did ask her to stay, saying she thinks Mare just didn't think before flashing her boobies.
Yeah. But
And
Mare was like, "No, I'd rather go."
yeah, I'd rather die than apologize to you. She said, I just want an apology. I'd rather die. And you don't say that to
Yeah.
Angela.
No, no, because she'll take you at your word.
Yeah.
Be like, "Well, if you're not gonna apologize, then you must die."
And also the next morning, TC goes through a list of stuff missing from the camp, including
Mhm.
the electric drill and other things that will be used later for killing. I like TC. He
I
rocked
like
that mullet.
TT too. I was he was one of my favorites. I was like, "Sir, I hope you survive."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a lot like Ronnie from the first one, but he was
Yes.
no Ronnie. Ronnie was like so big and strong and formidable, just out there.
TC had thick thighs, okay? Let's not discount that. And also Sean had very nice abs. You don't get to see them very often though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Apparently not like
only
everybody else's titties.
yeah, they were a lot more reserved on the boy end than they were in the first movie.
Mhm. There's just a whole lot of we're gonna cliche this.
Yeah. I wonder if short shorts were even considered crop tops. The next night, campers Anthony and Judd tried to scare Angela, dressed as Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. The plan backfires when Angela, dressed as Leatherface, wearing Mare's skin. Oh, that's whose face it was.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Wearing
I
Mare's
figured that
skin
out
face
eventually.
as a mask, slashes Anthony's throat and murders Judd with a chainsaw. Why was Jason's machete fake, but the Freddy glove was real? Some serious disregard and safety there. All right. The next day, Angela sets a trap for Allie and forces her down an outhouse, drowning her in human waste and leeches.
That was super disgusting.
That fucking outhouse was abandoned for a long time. In reality, you wouldn't be able to get 100 yards of that thing.
No, but, I'd also like to point out that because I made a note about this, and it's probably my favorite thing about this entire movie, but the, like, ADR Foley for that scene, the squishing sounds and the water sounds and the
I
splashing sounds.
I put bonus points for really trying to make it look gross, which it did.
Yeah.
The cheesy way of putting her down the toilet from the point of view of the outhouse.
Yes.
And then I have the sound effects of the squishy squirting sounds.
So amazing because I was like, "There is no way," because I don't think people have been using that outhouse. Nothing would still be soft in there,
No.
let alone wet.
Yeah. And it
But
was wet
okay,
and squishy.
and splashy.
Yeah, it was gross.
It was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting, and it made me so nauseous I wanted to puke.
And I had to Google it after about the leeches. And all I could find out is that leeches can survive in pollution. So
Mm,
take that for what you will. But there was a lot of leeches on her.
yeah. Ugh.
And yeah, poor Allie bit the big one. That night, Demi reveals to Angela that she phoned the families of the campers sent home and discovered the girls aren't at home. Great scene. Usually never
Yeah.
happens in a horror movie. A little concerning that almost all the parents didn't give a shit about the
Well, they
kids.
all thought they were at camp,
Yeah.
and apparently all of their kids are assholes, so they're like, "Well, our kids aren't gonna write us,"
Yeah.
because remember, this was back in the '80s when parents were totally fine with not hearing from you for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Nobody needed a daily text to be like, "Just tell me you're safe."
Nope.
No, they were like, "You're going to camp. You're gonna be gone for 4 weeks. Cool. We'll
Yeah.
see you on pickup day."
I remember going to visit my cousin and us being yelled at when that light comes on, come
You come
and let
home.
us know. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
even then we were allowed back out, but we had to stay within the lights. Yeah, not today.
Oh god, no.
Realizing she could be caught, Angela strangles Demi with a guitar string before stabbing Lee to death with when she finds Demi's body. Poor Lee just walked in at the wrong time.
Lee unfortunately made the mistake of saying, "Who locked the door? I'm gonna tell." If she had just not said, "I'm gonna tell,"
Yeah.
she would have lived.
Yeah, they would yeah,
But
yeah.
no, this
Yeah,
is
she
what
was
you
the
get for being a
tattletale from
narc.
the beginning though.
This is what you get for being a narc.
Yeah.
Snitches get stitches or, stabbed to death,
Or
whatever.
stabbed to death, yeah. I did appreciate Angela looking for a weapon to kill Demi with as Demi was telling her all the stories of calling in the
Yes.
missing campers and going through the motions of how she would kill Demi with like the
Yes.
boombox or the pencil,
Yeah.
like miming it out. That was
It was
awesome.
fantastic. It was fantastic.
And this is where a lot of people I think dislike the movie. It was a horror movie, but it was winking at the audience
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next day, head counselors Uncle John and TC fire Angela for sending too many campers home. Actually, Molly comes in the cabin that night and sees all the beds are empty.
Yeah.
Everything's gone
And
except
Angela's
for
like, "It's
hers.
just me and you."
Yeah.
Like, that's not creepy. What?
And of course, that sets off a giant red flag for Molly. No, I'm just kidding. That silly bitch doesn't even
No.
question it.
She's like, "Cool.
Yeah. We'll still have
I'm gonna go to
fun.
bed now."
Ah, okay. Every one of them was empty. So Angela's fired even after she promises not to do it anymore. Molly and Sean Whitmore, I guess his last name is Whitmore, go into the woods to cheer her up, but the pair discover the bodies of the other campers before Angela ties them up.
Mhm.
Sean actually loses all credit of being a man and because he falls to the ground crying and throwing up. I know everyone can't be a man's man like me, but come on. I'd scream so loud after seeing all those dead bodies.
Because they're all sitting around.
Yeah. Oh, it looked creepy. It did look
Yeah.
creepy.
Like
Yeah.
they're at a jamboree. They're just hanging.
Yeah.
It's
I would have
very
been
weird.
throwing Molly into Angela and running like the wind. They'd hear me screaming 10 minutes away, right up until I got to the camp. After learning the whereabouts of Molly and Sean, TC goes after them. I really thought TC not it was going to save the day or anything, but I thought he's going to do more than he did because Angela throws battery acid in his face, killing him instantly. It
Yeah,
wasn't really instantly, but
he screamed for a little bit and then he died.
yeah. And she asks if he wants a second cup.
Yeah.
Like she throws out some confident one-liners.
She really does. It's concerning how at peace she is with what she's doing.
Oh yeah.
She's not even
Well,
angry when she does it. She's just like, "Now you need to die."
yeah. And like Sean's even like, you're twisted, you're sick. And she's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. They tested me. They said I'm cured. They wouldn't let me out if I was still.
They wouldn't have let me out unless I was cured.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you just passed the tests.
Oh, okay. Sean is decapitated after he realizes Angela is the murderer from the Camp Arawak incident 5 years ago.
Mhm.
Molly gets knocked out or passes out
I don't think Molly gets knocked out or passes out.
because she wakes up and Angela is like, "Look who's on TV," and she points to Sean's head inside the TV.
No, I think she just closed. Oh, maybe she passed out.
But I did like that when she put like,
Yeah,
"Look
that
who's
was
on
cool.
TV."
Look who's on TV, and then it's just Sean's face.
Yeah.
I was like, "Shit, that's really good." Did they, like, actually stick Sean in there? Because there was I highly doubt they had a budget for special effects for this.
No, yeah, no.
So
Could
I
have
was
been one
like,
of
I
those
have a
things.
feeling they just kinda put a TV on his head. I was like,
Yeah.
"Sit here."
Later, Angela leaves the cabin and Molly frees herself. Upon returning, Molly knocks Angela unconscious, steals her knife, and escapes. After an extended chase through the woods, Molly falls onto a rock and is presumed dead. After killing the remaining campers, I don't know how many people Angela killed, but it was impressive.
Yeah. She went through them all.
Yeah. Angela hitchhikes and gets picked up, but the driver quickly annoys her
Mm.
and she kills her.
Yep.
Angela's just gone off the rails.
She's just like, I don't like this. Imma kill you."
Yeah. Molly regains consciousness and makes it out of the woods, and a truck pulls up behind her. And if you're just dying with anticipation, too bad, go watch the movie. No. Molly is horrified to learn that Angela is the driver, and she screams, and the movie is over.
Yes.
Anna's score.
Okay. I want to say rent it, and here's why. I feel like everybody needs to watch this movie for just the randomness that it is. And I
Mhm.
am not promising that it is a good movie, and I am not promising that it is a masterpiece or even just passable as a quality movie, but this movie is an experience.
Yeah.
This movie has like I spent the entire time watching it, and sometimes I laughed, sometimes I wanted to puke, and sometimes I was like, "Wow, Angela's batshit crazy."
Yeah.
And it's very unnerving. It's an experience. And I need to be super clear. It's an experience. So
Much like
that's
the
why I say
first
rent
one.
it. Much like the first one. But the first one was
A different experience,
a
definitely.
different experience. This is definitely a lighter experience. Like you're not going to walk away from this being like, I'm disturbed.
Yeah.
But you'll walk away from this being like, oh my God, that one had a few laughs and this was crazy. And I wonder what the next movie's going to be like. Because the second one is so different from the first.
Yeah.
You're like, what? What are you gonna do next? So I
Yeah.
say rent it.
And you could say rent it at a discount, or were you saying like it's worth a full?
I think it's worth a full $4.99. Now, if it's a $9.99 rental, leave it on the shelf, wait for it to stream. Mind
Yeah.
you, right now this is on Tubi, so by all means, go watch it. Um, but yeah, if it was like $4 or $5, 100% rent it. I would not do premium rentals for this.
No.
No.
Hmm.
But like $4 or $5, make some popcorn, order a pizza, watch this movie, and revel at like just the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but funny, but good, but not that good.
Yeah.
So weird. So
Okay.
weird.
My score. Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers, is not a bad sequel. I mean, it's a bad movie, but it's a 180 to the first Sleepaway Camp. There is no Ronnie and his co-star's penis. There is no Artie, the pedophile cook, if you remember that guy. Although there is Uncle John. The creepiness that was all around the B movie original is not here in this movie. What is here is a bunch of mullets, boobies, and lots of kills. Some don't look too bad. If you love or like cheesy 80s B movies, you do not get more cheesy or B than this. There is some fun in this movie. I was never looking at whether or not it was going to be over soon. It was also 80 minutes, but it's not something I would watch again anytime soon, but I'm glad I did. It's very aware of itself. It is a horror movie, almost to the point of winking at the audience several times. It's aware that it's low budget, but it doesn't hide it, and yet it doesn't stop it from trying to give you kill after kill. Mullets, boobies, and gore, I would say I'm kind of in the same boat you are, where that if I rented this, I would not be disappointed.
Mhm.
Um, but I where I'm gonna cheat and say I'm gonna say rent it at a discount. You know, Google and Apple has that $1.99 or 99
Yeah.
cent rental. Yes, that's what I'm gonna say. Discount rental.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was definitely an experience.
It's an experience, and especially if you've seen the first Sleepaway Camp,
Definitely, yeah.
definitely you need to watch this
Yeah.
because technically it's the same character, and you're like, this is what years of intensive therapy turned Angela into.
Yeah.
And it's so ridiculous. And also, can I just say, like, kudos to Pamela Springsteen? She killed it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No pun intended, but punny. She totally killed it as just the completely off center but rational killer who's like, well, of course, you were rude, therefore you must die.
Yeah.
You showed your titties, you must die. Oh, what's that? You're talking smack about me, you must die. Like, and it's perfectly rational and reasonable to her. And then she sings Kumbaya. And this movie is an enigma.
But this movie was fun enough that I want to see Sleepaway Camp 3.
Oh
Like
God, yeah.
I can already see next summer's drive-ins of Sleepaway Camp 3, Leprechaun 3, Halloween 3,
All the threes.
all the threes. Oh,
Oh God.
all right. Could it be reimagined or rebooted today?
I think
Mm,
Sleepaway Camp as a concept can be reimagined and rebooted.
Yeah.
This particular movie in and of itself, nah, man.
No.
Also, you don't need to.
No.
Leave this where it is. Just let it live.
All right. So for the podcast, we hope you enjoyed our review of Halloween Resurrection and Sleepaway Camp 2 Unhappy Campers. Please check us out on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or Instagram or whatever. And if you like to watch us, we are live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. Or you can watch the podcast on YouTube. And of course, listen to a new episode every Sunday where you got this episode. For this was way more. That's a drive-in special. This was a very enjoyable drive-in special.
It
The
really
other
was.
two were not. They were enjoyable because we got to shit on those movies, but the actual enjoying it was it sucked. This was a
Yeah.
great one.
No, this was a surprising one. I didn't think I would. I knew I was going to have fun watching these movies. I didn't think I would like them as much as I did.
Yeah.
Like, I shit on them a lot less than I thought I would.
All right. Thank you for listening to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Until the next movie we remember liking.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking,